Everyone, another family, no one suggests the first thing I knew, said he was a pretty good man. He would help on his own. He would drop everything to run and help with. He would be sadly missed by many. The driver of the car, a 31-year-old man, stopped at the scene and was arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving.
Thank you very much, Ted. So not only are we remembering YING TAO today, but we are also remembering Christian Jones. Can I now ask Rachel Aldred to speak? Rachel is one of the trustees of the London Cycling Campaign. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicola. The London Cycling Campaign would like to send its condolences to the family and friends of YING TAO and Clifton James, and also to support this action that's being taken. I would like to say personally that I think, although, as Nicola said, we have a long way to go, the people gathered here and many other people have done a brilliant job in putting cycle safety on the agenda, but more than that, putting the fact that we have an unsafe system on our roads on the agenda. It's not just cyclists. In the decades following World War II, the system has increasingly been developed to protect those who cause the most harm, putting the most vulnerable, children, cyclists and pedestrians, at greater and greater risk. Cars and lorries have got bigger and more dangerous. Roads have got bigger and motor traffic has been prioritised. And there is a mindset, which we've seen in some of the behaviour on display today, that 5 minutes of someone's time is more important than lives lost on the roads. Unfortunately, that also still feeds through into a lot of transport planning. Which is shockingly dangerous, that attempts to make it better are being held up for years while the transport modelers look at whether it will hold up drivers if this is to be made safe for people walking and cycling, for people just going about their business. And I think we need a change in mindset. We need to prioritise people's health, people's lives, people's safety, and not just minutes of commuters' time, of business people's time getting to meetings. We need a change in how we prioritise on our roads. Of areas. We need much more segregated cycle infrastructure. We need enforcement of existing laws, and we may need changes to the law. We need restrictions on motor traffic. We need more funding, and we need this to be treated as an emergency. It's not acceptable when we know that we can act quickly. For example, with the Olympics, massive changes can be made at very little notice. But still, all of us know, I know, near me, there are junctions that will kill. There are junctions that will seriously injure, that will leave people disabled the rest of their lives. We know these junctions, we know these places exist. I could tell you where they exist. And it's not acceptable that these things just continue, that the toll just carries on rising. And we need also to look to the approach in places like Scandinavia, where they don't wait for people to die. Road safety in this country, if we're lucky, we have improvements after someone dies. In Scandinavia, they take an approach where they look and see if the junction is dangerous, if the road is dangerous, and they try and take action before someone dies. Wouldn't it be much more humane to be doing that instead? I'd just like to finish by saying that I researched this area and I've studied changes in the way that cycling is talked about, changes that road safety is talked about, and I think you are all continuing to make an enormous difference. Please carry on, because I think we can have a safe, future where people can live, can enjoy, can breathe, can get along in our cities without this constant threat hanging over us. The future could be so much better. Thank you.
We're being asked to move. Can you slowly move away from Lombard Street? People are trying to ask us to move up towards this junction, so if people can sort of like move this way so that at least the traffic outside number 1 Lombard Street can move. So people can move this way. I'd now like to ask Steve Routley, the co-founder of Stop Killing Cyclists, to speak.
If you can come in as tight as possible, please, just to leave the lane of traffic clear there, the lane for traffic. Amidst traffic's rage, a prolonged silencing, flowers have been laid. It's great to see so many people out today, especially in view of the fact that already there have been 2 actions here since last Monday. Wednesday's London cycling campaign flash ride brought this junction to a standstill, and on Friday evening around about 1,000 participants in critical mass held this junction for half an hour in the name of YING TAO, and I was incredibly proud to be part of that. The fact that you're all here, some of you maybe for a second or third time, shows that there is real passion and dedication and anger. We want to see things change. The haiku that I started with, I wrote when I visited here on the way home from work last Monday evening. I spent a few moments in reflection and just looked at the junction. It was built decades ago and wasn't designed for modern traffic flow. There are 7 roads that feed traffic into it, and the centre, regardless of the fact there are traffic lights trying to control it, just becomes a crazy gyre of vehicles, their drivers jostling for space, trying to get through on the lights when they can. It's not friendly to cyclists. Take a deep breath, eyes everywhere, looking out for any risks. Make sure you can be seen and just get across. The infrastructure here is a major problem, and that's an issue for the City of London Corporation to deal with. Make some of the streets one way, pedestrianised sections of it, or even all of it. But add to that, half-blind, possibly tired HGV and tipper drivers running to schedules where they're paid by load, which forces them to work longer hours and drive faster at the busiest times. I'm surprised there aren't even more deaths and serious injuries at this junction. That's a matter for Boris Johnson to address. And if he did so, the repercussions of any positive action would affect the whole of central London and make everyone's lives better. But Boris refuses to ban rush hour tippers because he believes that the contribution they make to the economy of the city is more important than cyclists' lives. And I would wonder, does he maybe appear to maybe not quite be the cycle-friendly mayor he paints himself as, instead towing the line of organisations like the Freight Transport Association, saying that such a ban is not the answer. But until he tackles the issue directly and wholeheartedly, Boris Johnson has the blood of every single tipper death on his hands, and he cannot be allowed to wash it off by using distractions like threatening to confiscate the bikes of cyclists who jump red lights, a victimless crime. YING TAO maybe could have taken a different route. Maybe she could have got a different job somewhere else. Maybe she could have lived in a different city with good, safe infrastructure or legislation to regulate super trucks. Maybe, just maybe, we need certainty. The certainty that our mayor and our boroughs will be proactive in saving lives. We do not just want action on killer tippers from City Hall. We demand it. All we need to take is ourselves before they take more lives. Get these vehicles off our roads during rush hour. It really is that simple. I'd like to close by saying that following the London Cycling Campaign action and critical mass, and today and the last 18 or so months of this campaign, you lot are awesome. Keep being awesome. For all who never made it home, for a safe future for cycling in London. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. We're getting extra pressure from the police to move this way. They're saying we don't want to lose the will of the other drivers and what have you. I don't know where we can go, but please, if people can move forward so at least some of the motorised traffic can move at that end. I'm now going to ask, while you're moving forward, I'm now going to ask Chris Kenyon, founder of Cycling Works, to speak. Cycling Works is 100 major London businesses, and he will explain more. Thank you, Chris.
Hi, I hope you can hear me at the back. Firstly, my condolences both to YING TAO's family and to those of Clifton James today. Some people see cyclists in the street and some people see pedestrians. And I look around us in the heart of this great city and I see lawyers and teachers and cleaners and doctors and bankers all here working in this great city. And if there are three organisations we need to focus on, we need to focus on the mayoral candidates for the next election. We need to focus on the City of London itself, which is letting down employees and employers in this great city by not doing enough around road transformation and reducing road violence. And I would particularly encourage you all to focus your ire on City of Westminster itself, right at the heart of the City of London, which has blocked 20 miles an hour in the heart of the city. It blocks the central grid of cycle superhighways. It makes Parliament Square a 5-lane, one-way roundabout system right at the heart of our city. The mayoral candidates, the City of London itself, and the City of Westminster all need to be the focus of our attention. Last year, when the east-west, north-west cycle superhighways came up, politicians said it's not possible. It's bad for business. And in Cycling Works, we reached out to businesses in London and the tech community, Orange and Microsoft. Not just developers, but the managing directors said, we would like to see curb-segregated infrastructure in this city. Here in the city itself, Allen & Overy, the largest law firm in the city, has asked for curb-segregated routes through the city. Rothschild, the oldest bank here in the city, has asked for the same. The Financial Times overlooking Southwark Bridge, Pearson with 6,000 employees, Unilever, who overlook Blackfriars Bridge, where we've had 2 tragic deaths in the last 3 years. When any politician tells you that doing this safely is bad for business, they are lying to you. And it is time that we as Londoners said this is not just about cyclists, it's about what's good for London's businesses. It's, as Rachel said, it's that all of us as pedestrians and cyclists in our businesses every day, 9 out of the 10 largest property companies in London have stood up and said they are pro curb segregated routes in London. There is one exception, Canary Wharf, and shame on them. Okay, but the rest of London's property companies are for this. Together as Londoners we can do this, and I just encourage you to say, let's bust the myth that this is bad for business. It's not, and let's bust the myth that we shouldn't be targeting City of London themselves and Westminster. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Christine. Okay, the police are being nice to us. Right, we now have Donica McCarthy, who is one of the co-founders of Stop Killing Cyclists, who is going to talk about our demands. Thank you.
Thank you. Fellow cyclists, fellow pedestrians, fellow car users, fellow Lycra lovers, not louts, fellow HGV truckers, fellow cabbies, fellow city workers, fellow Londoners. We are not here tonight just for cyclists. We're here for everybody. Because the cyclists actually are the smallest number of people who are being killed in London streets from our transport diseases, because the 2/3 of Londoners who want to cycle are afraid to cycle. That means around 7,000 people are dying every year from our transport policies. Just since YING TAO and Clifton James were brutally killed 7 days ago, we would have 135 coffins built up in the centre of this road if you could see them. These people are dying horrible, horrible deaths from cancer and diabetes and heart disease. So we are here as Londoners, not as cyclists. And enough is enough. The City of London and the Transport of London must make our streets safer for cyclists and pedestrians. We today are calling on the Mayor of London to summon an emergency killer tipper summit. It must put an end to this plague that's killing cyclists month after month. So Stop Killing Cyclists demands for this evening's protest are: 1. Close this damn junction to motorised traffic and make it into the beautiful This is not a junction, this is a murder route. We want it instead to be a beautiful, people-friendly square at the heart of the city, which is what it should be. Our second demand: the Corporation of London, who is responsible for this junction, must drop its long-standing opposition to protected cycle lanes. They haven't built a single metre of protected cycle lanes for 5 years. Why? They say protected cycle lanes would mean cyclists go too fast. Well, I'm sorry, it's not cyclists are killing people, City of London, it's killer trucks and killer cars. Thirdly, since Stop Killing Cyclists from the beginning has said, it is totally unacceptable in a civilised society to have killer machines such as tipper trucks and HGV trucks on a road where the poor driver cannot see adjacent road users. They cannot see the pedestrians, they cannot see the cars, and they cannot see us cyclists. It is like putting a police marksman out on the street and and blinding him. It's just ridiculous. In no civilized society would you allow a murderous system like this. So compulsory CCTV for the left-hand side of trucks must be a priority for the Mayor. Fourth, Steve already said we want a ban during rush hours for these killer machines. And finally, I am sick to the teeth of Andrew Gilligan and the Mayor saying we're spending loads of money on cyclists. They think if you mention the word million and cyclists, we'll bow down in gratitude. Well, I'm sorry, it's buttons and it's breadcrumbs that's being spent on cycling. And I'll tell you why, because it's the truth. To make it sound big, they multiply the figure that they might spend this year by 10. They say, oh, we're going to have 10 years, we're going to spend this amount of money. Well, actually, they're supposed to be spending 80 million this year. What is 80 million? 80 million compared to repairing Bank Station, underground station where we're just beside where we're staying. They're going to spend £500 million refurbishing one tube station. To save the lives of all of Londoners cyclists and people who aren't cycling, they're going to spend that much in 6 years. They are not spending a fortune on cycling. They're spending 1.3% of the TfL budget, and we want it to be 10% by 2020. We must remember that figure. 10% by 2020. That's our demand from all the mayoral candidates and all the GLA junction. Finally, it is my habit at these die-ins to also mention the positives that we cyclists bring to London. We reduce poisonous transport pollution. We reduce congestion on our roads. We reduce carbon dioxide pollution. We reduce transport noise pollution. We reduce the NHS budget by billions. We reduce road maintenance by millions. We make our streets safer for children. We stimulate local economies, and statistically we kill 0 pedestrians. So let me finish with my usual call. 3 cheers for cycling! Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Thank you.
Okay, this is our final speaker, Tom Carney. Before we go, and when you leave here, first of all, can you move this way as quickly as possible so that we can get the streets back open? I would finally like to thank very much for Han Wu and for Jin Chu, who is the husband of Ying Tao, and all the family and friends who have come here today, and I hope that they have got some comfort from today, and we offer our huge condolences and apologies to the family and friends of Ying Tao. Can I now ask Tom Carney to speak? Thank you.
There is no joy in London tonight. All 8 of us have been forced to sleep, and all of us now cry. There is no justice in London tonight, while our permanently part-time mayor pontificates with only platitudes. And our lords of transport casually lob another lip service safety lie. There is no summer in London tonight. It is now a dark winter of dread for those families of the fallen. There is no time for complacency. Look around you this evening. Remember why we're here, and that some of us now grieving might be tomorrow's dead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Can I now ask you to please move off the street, come onto the square here as quickly as possible. The traffic, the police, the motorised traffic, the police have been absolutely fantastic. Can I have a big round of applause to the police as a thank you? So can people please start moving over? Can I also point out, when the ambulance came through, the way that we emptied the road so that they could come through, if we were a whole load of cars, I dread to think how long that would have taken for them to move. Can I just, please, everybody, can you just start moving, please, 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 can you move? People that are on the pavement, can you move further away so that other people can get onto the pavement?